What is going on, everybody? I am back with a brand new video, and today I wanted to go over 5 discs that I believe are underrated. Now, this is all perspective. These might be very well known to you. You might bag them, you might think they're overhyped, but to me, I felt like they were underrated and that I don't see them very often in people's bags. Here we go. The first disc I want to talk about is the Castaplast iDog. In my mind, a stable fairway driver like this one is a must-have in the bag. The iDog comes in at 7.5 negative 0.52, so it's pretty comparable to a Innova T-Bird or a Discraft Athena. From my experience, it is a click less stable than a Champion T-Bird, but still stable enough to be workable on all angles, and if it's windy, still gonna be, rather dependable. I'll be honest, the flight of this is nothing spectacular. It's not gonna really blow you out of the water, but at the same time, it's a disc that needs to be in the bag, that's nice and reliable, and that you can just trust. The mold is pretty good, but the plastic might be even better. K1 line is what they call it, and it's got a nice gummy feeling while still being, somewhat stiff. You can see it's a little flexible, but it's still stiff enough where it's not flopping out of the hand when you go to throw it. But let me know down in the comments if you've tried the iDog. Do you believe it's underrated or not? Oh, I didn't get it out flat, but it might not matter. These discs are in no specific order, but coming in at number 2 is going to be the Streamline Shift. The Shift is an understable driver coming in at 9.5 negative 3.1, and this thing is a hyzer flip machine. That's one of the main reasons I fell in love with this disc, because I know I can put it on some hyzer and just watch it flip up and turn. And depending on what I'm trying to do, I can put more hyzer on it, watch it flip up, but then get that fade at the end. It's been a very versatile disc for me, especially since hurting my elbow when I wasn't throwing many forehands. And even if you don't have a ton of power, this could be a driver that carries a little farther for you. Coming in at number 3 is the Praxis. I don't know if I said that right. I got corrected the other day. I think I usually say Praxis. Anyway, the Praxis is a putter from Thought Space Athletics 3301. I came across this disc last year, and from someone who doesn't have the best track record with throwing putters, I gotta say I've been throwing this thing pretty well, or at least for my standards. For me, it's a pretty neutral flyer that I can still put some power behind, so whatever line I wanna throw it on, hyzer or anhyzer, it just kind of holds it for me. I like a nice shallow putter, and this one fits great in my hand. I think it's very comfortable. I also really like this Ethos soft plastic, kind of similar to the K1 line plastic. It's nice and gummy. It's flexible, but not too flexible, and this type of plastic I absolutely love. At least in my eyes, Thought Space is kind of a smaller brand, so I feel like we can call this one definitely underrated, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I am really trying to get to this basket, and that was on a rope. These next 2 do come from bigger brands, but I still don't think they get talked about a lot or enough. The first one being the MVP Servo. For those of you who've been watching the channel for a while, I'm sure you know how much I like this disc. The Servo is a fairway driver, 6.5, 5, negative 1.2, and this thing is another hyzer flip machine. But instead of this one turning over on me, I can just expect it to flip to flat and go dead straight, which is just a great tool to have in the bag. With it only being a 6.5 speed, I feel like it's very controllable, it feels good in the hand, and like most MVP discs, it's board flat. On a side note, this is the only servo that I've thrown, so I'm not sure how this mold flies in different plastics. I did get asked the question the other day, why was the servo not in the bag video? And I want to clarify really quickly on that. As much as I love this disc, it was flying very similar to my Leopard 3s, and because of that, when I got to a tee pad, I would always be trying to choose between Leopard 3 or Servo. And just because the Leopard 3s have been in my bag for a long time, I couldn't take them out, so I took out the Servo. That way I didn't have to make that choice at the tee pad, but I definitely could see this disc making a comeback for me. And last but not least, I'm going with the Innova Racer. The Racer is meant to be a beaten-in destroyer right out of the box, and with the destroyer being overhyped, that must mean the Racer is underrated. right? All jokes aside, the reason the Racer made the list is because it was a very consistent driver for me. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I was bombing it or that it was going farther than all my other distance drivers. In fact, it was probably still a little stable for me, but the main reason it made the list is because of its glide and it's very controllable. I would say it's like my medium stability Zeus, but it has a little bit more glide. One thing to note with the Racer is that it does have a nose bead. Some people might not like this. It's something that I wasn't very fond of, but to be honest with you, when I was out on the course throwing it, I didn't even realize it was there. It's nothing magical, but it's one that keeps you in the fairways, and I feel like people don't really give it enough credit, or I don't hear it talked about enough. What do you guys think? There you guys have it, just 5 discs that I view as underrated. Even if you don't want to classify them as underrated, I would still say they are 5 great molds. But let me know what you guys think. What is the most underrated disc golf disc? Let me know down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one.